Just ahead on CTV News.
Arguably one of the biggest economic projects is coming here to Prince George's County, down here at the National Harbor. What it is and how it will affect you, I'll let you know on CTV News.
Advocacy groups are back in Annapolis to rally to raise the state's minimum wage. I'm Katara Jones. I'll have all those details coming up on CTV News.
Plus, we look back over the first year of Donald Trump's second presidency. These stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for January 20th. I'm Jonathan Hunter.
And I'm Anaya Falcon. Thanks so much for joining us.
And the top of our news tonight. Prince George's County has a big boost in the economy heading its way.
And the county executive is celebrating her first big development win. CTV's Brandon Williams has more on the story.
Coming over here next to MGM is going to be one of the biggest economic development projects in Prince George's County. The $1 billion-plus Sphere Entertainment venue is predicted to generate jobs, revenue for Prince George's County, as well as the state of Maryland.
And for my first big economic development project, I wanted something that would really put Prince George's County on the map.
A big music and entertainment sphere should do the trick. It will be placed next to the MGM Resort and Casino, and given the artist's renderings, it's anticipated to draw the attention of people from all around the DMV and nationally, while also providing more than 4,000 jobs for residents once it's open. Governor Wes Moore said this is just what Maryland needs.
That in Maryland, it's time for us to remember we do big things here, and this is a really big deal for the people of the state of Maryland.
The economic impact for this project is projected at $1 billion annually. It will be a smaller scale model compared to the original in Las Vegas that opened in 2023. Prince George's County Executive Aisha Braveboy said it's comparable to the birth of the National Harbor.
This is a tax incentive finance deal similar to the deal we did for National Harbor. So this is no different than any other investment that we would make in a project of this size.
The Sphere Entertainment venue is predicted to be here in the DMV by 2030. Reporting from the National Harbor, I'm Brandon Williams, CTV News.
Thanks, Brandon. And the fight for a fair wage for all Marylanders continues in Annapolis today.
That's right. A group is back this legislative session pushing to get lawmakers to change the state's minimum wage. Our CTV's Katara Jones is in Annapolis with more.
Here in Maryland, the state's minimum wage is $15 an hour. Well, advocacy groups aren't okay with that. They want to see the state's minimum wage to go up to $25 an hour.
This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like.
On a frigid Monday morning, community members, along with advocacy groups, are standing shoulder to shoulder with the Maryland Living Wage for All Coalition. The group is launching its campaign to get an increase in the state's minimum wage to $25 an hour.
The fact is that our current minimum wage, $15 an hour, is not remotely enough for even a single adult working full-time and not taking care of kids.
The group will have a tough road ahead, especially as the state faces a more than $1 billion budget deficit. But supporters of this initiative aren't backing down.
We think it's exactly the right time, particularly because democracy can't work if people can't work. People actually need a living wage to be able to cover their basic needs, so they have the extra brainwidth time to be able to participate in democracy.
The Maryland Living Wage for All Coalition wants to see wages for tip workers to also go up to $25 an hour. Currently, the group does not have a Maryland lawmaker or bill associated with their initiative. Katara Jones, CTV News.
And for more details on the group's campaign, you can visit the website on your screen.
And Maryland is now at the center of a national debate over immigration enforcement and federal agents' identities. Democratic lawmakers have introduced several bills, including one that would bar certain federal ICE agents from ever working in state law enforcement. another aimed at unmasking anonymous ICE agents involved in violent or unconstitutional incidents, so victims can pursue justice. Montgomery County leaders have proposed bills regarding masks or face coverings and requiring federal agents to present warrants before entering county property.
According to the Baltimore Sun, Governor Westmore's plan to shrink Maryland's general fund would likely mean deep cuts to education and health care with little immediate relief for taxpayers. That comes as many Marylanders are still feeling the impacts of last year's tax hikes. While Democrats and Republicans disagree on what exactly should be cut, both sides agree that cuts are necessary to fix the state's financial problems.
And Congress has voted overwhelmingly to continue funding for the National Endowment for the Arts and the National Endowment for the Humanities. The U.S. Senate voted 82 to 15 on Thursday to award each endowment $270 million next year, the same level at which both federal agents are currently funded. The bills were included in a broader spending package aimed at keeping the federal government open through at least September 30th. The legislation had been sent out to President Donald Trump for his signature.
Today marks 1 year of Donald Trump's second term in office. The president has enacted many sweeping policies when it comes to foreign policy and immigration.
It was on January 20th of last year when President Donald Trump for the second time took the oath of office.
So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations, Mr. President.
After he was inaugurated, he signed several executive actions, including pardoning nearly 1,500 people who were convicted of crimes from the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. When the president came into office, he vowed to crack down on illegal immigration. In 2025, the country saw a negative net migration for the first time in at least 50 years. The country has also seen a rise in ICE arrests. The Department of Homeland Security claims more than 622,000 people have been deported since the president took office. Democrats and independents have largely disapproved of ICE operations, while Republicans have been supportive.
You know, if you didn't have open border policies of Biden, none of this, all of the things that all of the time that we spend talking about Minnesota and everything else, most of them are coming from out of the country.
Vowing to slash the federal workforce for efficiency, the Department of Government and Efficiency, also known as DOGE, laid off hundreds of thousands of people, although some were reinstated after court challenges. Looking at the economy, the president carried out his promise of widespread tariffs on goods brought into the U.S., claiming tariffs are bringing billions of dollars for the country, while economic experts say Americans ultimately have to pay the higher prices.
We secured historic trade deals to reduce barriers on U.S. exports with countries covering 40% of all U.S. trade. Think of that. American exports are up by more than $150 billion this year.
At the end of year one, Trump has an approval rating of 40%. DNC Chair Ken Martin released a statement saying, in part, in just 1 year, Donald Trump has tanked the economy, sent prices soaring, decimated the job market, and left families everywhere struggling to make ends meet. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says, in just 1 year, President Trump has accomplished more than many presidents do in 8. We've never had a president fight harder to deliver on the promises he made to the American people than President Trump.
Also during Trump's second term, the country saw the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. The president believes Democrats were at fault for not supporting the short-term spending bill.
And Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown says he's working to push back against what he calls chaos coming from Washington since President Donald Trump returned to office. Brown has filed dozens of lawsuits challenging the Trump administration's policies. He says legal fights have helped preserve billions in federal funding for things like transportation, education, health care, and environmental protection in Maryland. Critics argue the lawsuits are costly and politically motivated. Supporters say the Attorney General is simply doing his job. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Anaya Falcon.
And I'm Jonathan Hunter. Still to come, Yesterday, the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was celebrated all across the nation.
After the break, find out how those in the county celebrated and what the day means for the community members. Stay with us.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
Welcome back. Across Prince George's County, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is not just marked with reflection, but with action. Governor Wes Moore and First Lady Dawn Moore spent the day at Legends Charter School helping to beautify classrooms and assemble care packages for the teachers. While the Prince George's County Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated partnered with United Communities Against Poverty to serve warm meals to families experiencing housing insecurity and deliver brand new sheets to local shelters, turning Dr. King's call to service into hands-on work.
Do service projects to honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who reminds us that everyone can be great because everybody can serve. This is our moment. You want to be part of a large movement, get out there and serve others, and that's how you can do it.
From the schools to shelters, Prince George's County is showing how Dr. King's legacy lives on through service.
And as quickly as it arrived, the severe influenza surge may be on a decline, but not before putting 4,000 people in the hospital and killing 14. The current flu surge may have peaked during the last week of December, with 1,079 people hospitalized. Even though flu numbers are dropping, public health officials say now isn't the time to let up on protective measures and public health practices. Last year, flu season did not peak until February.
Prince George's County Police need your help locating a suspect involved in a fatal shooting in Suitland on Sunday. Officers arrived at the 3900 block of Suitland Road around 11:30 a.m. They found the victim identified as 32-year-old Brandon Folks suffering from a gunshot wound. He later died at the scene. Investigators believe this was a targeted shooting, and a $25,000 reward is being offered for information leading to an arrest or an indictment in this case. Anyone with any information is asked to call 301-516-2512.
And 4 suspects are now charged in the murder of a 14-year-old boy in College Park. County police identified 18-year-old Jose Merlos Mahano and 21-year-old Alan Garcia Padilla, 19-year-old William Gutierrez, and a 17-year-old from Hyattsville in connection with the August 2nd killing of Jefferson Amaya Ayala. Detectives say the victim's remains were found last fall during a search at Indian Creek Stream Valley Park, and the medical examiner ruled his death a homicide. One suspect is in county jail, another is in D.C. custody, and a third is held in Virginia pending extradition. Police are asking anyone with information to contact the homicide unit.
The Seat Pleasant Police Department has some good news to report. Last year, they saw a 53.8% drop in overall crime. For 2025, robberies decreased by more than 90%. Thefts went down by more than 50%, and assaults down more than 60%. The department credits the drop in crime to increased use of advanced technologies, such as their drone and their real-time crime center critical partnerships, and their renewed commitment to community engagement. The Maryland Transit Administration has announced the Purple Line project is now 87% complete. The Purple Line has been plagued by problems and delays, including being nearly $5 billion over initial budgets. When finished, the Purple Line will run from near the new Carrollton Metro Station to near the Bethesda Station, with 19 other stations in between. The line was originally scheduled to be open by March of 2022.
And big news from the Moore Miller for Maryland campaign. 2025 was a record-breaking fundraising year. Governor Wes Moore and Lieutenant Governor Aruna Miller raised $7 million, the most ever in a non-election year. They are also starting the election year with $8 million in cash, driven by grassroots support, with nearly 95% of donations under $250. Campaign leaders say the momentum shows strong support for their vision of opportunity and progress across Maryland.
We now have a once-in-a-lifetime story coming from the University of Maryland. During the men's basketball game this weekend, 3 local high school students got to play in the Fine Testudo game.
Little do they know, the school had a surprise trick up their sleeves. Let's take a look.
3, 2, 1. Take off your blindfolds. Congratulations, Joseph, Kingsley, and Laura. You are now a Terp. Fans, you're looking at the first and only 3 students admitted into the University of Maryland's class of 2030.
Joined by the university's president, Testudo himself, and thousands of fans, Joseph, Kingsley, and Laura got their acceptance letters into UMD's class of 2030.
Kingsley is a senior at Charles Herbert Flowers High School and plans to major in information science. Congratulations to the newest class of Terps.
Still to come on CTV News, more than 500 women are suing the Chesapeake Regional Medical Center in connection with unnecessary operations.
After the break, we're joined by Dr. Hack to discuss what women should know before agreeing to surgery. We'll be back in a moment.
We are women first, but women with disabilities last.
During a military exercise, we crashed and I broke my neck.
When I was in the Air Force, an accident changed my life. I couldn't have imagined the injustices I would face.
Every day, women like me go to the doctor for annual checkups for conditions like breast cancer. Early detection saved my life. But women with disabilities face a cruel reality: inaccessible medical facilities and equipment.
In the 25 years since my injury, I have not seen a gynecologist. There's not one accessible OBGYN in my community.
I found lumps in my breast. I went to a doctor's office I was told was accessible, but when I got there, I couldn't get through the front door.
I don't know where I'd be today without access to testing. Our veterans deserve better. Help PVA fight for access at pva.org.
If words were enough, I would help you bear your burden. I would watch each child of yours grow strong and true. Teach them to read and to write and to sing, so that their voices be forgotten nevermore. If words were enough, I would sate your hunger, and you would know you are my sister, my brother, my child. If words were enough.
It's so hard to predict a sick kid who just keep getting sicker, but we needed to be together as a family. My family is my entire life. My family means the world to me.
When we're together and we have support from Ronald McDonald House, we can be a little stronger. They provide food and a place to rest your head, and they will help you through every step. That's what gets you through every day when you don't know how else you're gonna make it.
It makes you feel like you're not alone.
More than 500 women are seeking $10 million each from the Chesapeake Regional Medical Center in connection with unnecessary operations conducted by a former doctor. According to the complaint, the women are accusing leadership of the medical center of enabling former physician Javid Perways to perform unnecessary, harmful, invasive, and unlawful life-altering genealogic medical procedures for nearly a decade.
According to court records, Perways misled women about their health, even telling some they had cancer when they did not. Back today to discuss what women should know before agreeing to surgery is Dr. Stephanie Hack. And Dr. Hack, it's always a pleasure to have you on set with us.
Thank you for having me.
And obviously, looking at the report, it's very troubling seeing what happened. And as a doctor working with women on a weekly basis, what would you tell to a woman to assure them that this won't happen?
I would tell them that this is incredibly rare and uncommon, and I could certainly understand how someone would be afraid seeing a story like this, but this is very unlikely to happen.
And why do some women leave doctors' visits confused, and how can we change that?
Oh, so many reasons. Often when you go to the doctor, you feel rushed. Sometimes the doctor may use language that you don't really understand, and you may be afraid to ask questions and ask for clarification. And I think one of the most helpful things that women can do is taking notes before they come to the visit with their questions and during the visit when possible.
And then specifically, what are some questions they should ask to know whether or not they really should get surgery?
Ask, is this my only option? Ask, what happens if I don't do this? Ask, where can I find more information about the procedure that you're recommending?
And how can women tell between a surgery that they need right now versus one that they can kind of think about?
Sure, so that's going to be a planned procedure versus an urgent procedure. And much of that depends on the person's state, the woman's state. How is she feeling? Is she stable? If she's bleeding, for an example, that's an emergent thing that needs to be handled. But if her vital signs are stable, she's able to breathe okay, she's not in a significant amount of pain, otherwise her heart's beating okay, all of these vital signs are normal, she's not bleeding, then usually there's time to wait and schedule that procedure later and take time to think about it.
And then many women don't know exactly what surgery they've had. How can they find out?
We have something called an operative report. So after every surgery, regardless of what the surgery is, the doctor needs to sit down and dictate to go through exactly what the procedure was and what they did step by step during the procedure. And so if you request your medical records, you can find out what surgical procedures you've had by looking at that document.
And what are some red flags that a woman should pause or get another opinion on?
If a doctor or healthcare provider doesn't give you a chance to ask questions, they don't like that you ask questions, if they rush you, if they make you feel like there are no additional options, those are all red flags for me.
And talk about the importance of maybe seeking a second option, and I hear that in a lot of situations, that sometimes it's good to get a second opinion or maybe even a third opinion.
If you don't feel comfortable with what's been presented and you still have a lot of questions and you feel like they're not being answered, or you just don't feel confident in the answers you're given, seek a second opinion if you can, and a third opinion if that's necessary. I've personally done that, so you should definitely exercise that option if you can.
And what should women know about hysterectomy and tubal ligation before agreeing to either one?
You need to know the risks of the surgery, the benefits, and the complications. You need to know that these are permanent procedures. With a hysterectomy, they're removing the uterus. Well, you can't reverse that. With a tubal ligation, they are tying or sometimes removing your fallopian tubes, and you can't reverse that. So you need to know exactly what the procedure is and then what the potential risks or complications or just side effects are moving forward.
And then Dr. Hack, what would be your main message to convey to women on this topic when it comes to looking at surgery?
It's your body, it's your decision. As healthcare providers, we're there to consult for you and to guide you toward making the best decision for your health and your goals.
And what does this situation do to the healthcare industry, really? And as you as a healthcare professional, you know, how does this sort of make you feel, and what difference does this make for the community?
This makes me incredibly upset because the community looks at us as trusted providers to guide them. We take your trust and help you make decisions about your health. And so I look at these vulnerable women who trusted this physician, and I am very upset that this happened to them.
Well, it was a pleasure to speak with you, Dr. Hack. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And for more information on women's health and Dr. Hack's podcast, visit ladyparts.com. And still to come on CTV News, Simon Buggs has our Tuesday sports page.
That's right, and I hear he has some big things happening in high school hoops. What's happening, Simon?
Don't go anywhere, sports fans, because coming right up, a preview of some exciting high school basketball matchups taking place tonight, and a Terps men's basketball player gets recognized for his great play. Find out who after the break. Don't move.
You've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You have to carefully monitor your health for the rest of your life, and you have an increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Cut. Type 2, take 2.
Action. You've been diagnosed with a new purpose, to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself, to look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
What's going on, CTV Sports family? I know you had to wait, but it's finally time for your favorite segment. Now, first off, I gotta show love to the high schools that are taking the court tonight. For girls basketball, the Crosson Lady Cavaliers will try to snap their losing streak against College Park Academy. The Lady Clippers in Oxon Hill will try to grab their 8th win of the season versus CMIT North. Frederick Douglass will be on the road taking on Surrattsville, and Eleanor Roosevelt will defend home turf versus Flowers. Switching to the boys, Duval will square off against High Point. Parkdale and Laurel will return to action against one another. The Northwestern Wildcats will face off against the Bladensburg Mustangs. And finally, Gwen Park will try to get a road win against Fairmont Heights. And be sure to tune in to CTV Sports tomorrow because I have some exciting highlights in store for you. And sticking with basketball, congratulations to Terps guard David Coit on earning Big Ten Co-Player of the Week honors. This comes after the 5'11 guard averaged almost 37 points, that's right, 37 points in the team's games against USC and Penn State this past week. And in the team's game against the Nittany Lions, Coit put up 43 points, which broke the Xfinity Center's all-time scoring record. Maryland is now 8-10 and will be in Champaign tomorrow taking on Illinois at 7 o'clock. The women's basketball team was also in action this weekend. The Lady Terps fell to UCLA 97-67 on Sunday. The team will take the court next against Iowa on Thursday. Meanwhile, the NFC and AFC championship games are finally set, NFL fans. On the AFC side, MVP candidate Drake May and the rest of the New England Patriots will travel to the Mile High City to take on the Denver Broncos. And on the NFC side, another MVP candidate in Matthew Stafford and the rest of the Los Angeles Rams will travel to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Both games will be played on Sunday. And wrapping up sports, the Washington Capitals fell to the Colorado Avalanche yesterday, 5-2. The Caps will travel north of the border to take on the Vancouver Canucks next tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And that wraps up your Tuesday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
All right, thanks, Simon. Now, we're going to take a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be clear out with calm winds. Tomorrow is going to be sunny with a high of 41, but expect wind gusts up to 25 miles per hour. Thursday will be mostly sunny with a high of 50 and a low of 27. Friday will be partly sunny. It's going to be 38 degrees to kick off the weekend.
And the city of Bowie is ringing in the new year with a New Year networking event, ideal for job seekers, career changers, and professionals looking to grow their network. The evening will feature career development workshops hosted by the city's Workforce Training Center. This event takes place this Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. at Bowie City Hall. For more information, contact 301-938-7961 or the email on your screen.
Do you have a story to tell? You can reach out to our CTV News tip line.
Just give us a call at 301-386-4085, or you can send an email to ctvnews@pgctv.org. As always, we look forward to hearing from you.
And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.